2v2 Medean Cliff Mines blue team. We have deltakyklos plays a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Very good offense and disruption, fights in melee combat alongside Alexwellace is a Warp Spider Exarch teleporting commander that starts in ranged combat, great for capping and harassing early on with lots of crowd control and other annoyances later. Cpt.Fisher for the red team is a Techmarine, starts at ranged combat, puts up some good damage, can also support with structures, repair and deal with enemy vehicles, some blood ravens here. And rounding off the red team and the teams in all is greenelite, plays a Commissar Lord, good offense and support, fights in melee combat and begins with an energy shield. So it's Chaos versus Marines in the south and Imperial Guard versus Eldar in the north. Exarch doing his thing, teleporting ahead and harassing Guardsmen, but there is the execute buff from the Commissar Lord, one of his starting abilities, Inspire Courage, doubling the damage of this Guardsman squad but preventing them from retreating, which can backfire in your face pretty badly. Losing models here to these Dire Avengers and the Exarch, and he's forced to retreat them. Didn't do a whole lot with that buff. Tactical Marines on the field for Cpt.Fisher, as we'd expect. Some Khorne worship allowing these Chaos Space Marines to move faster and get into melee combat with these Tactical Marines, but there is Kraken Bolts giving the Marines a 20% damage buff versus heavy armor, and that does trigger on their melee attacks also. Here comes the Chaos Lord using Kill the Weak. The Tactical Marines actually lose a model first, now the Chaos Space Marines lose a model and they both retreat out, having taken a model from each. 2-to-1 cap for blue team early on, double CSM for deltakyklos, something I've been playing quite a lot recently, trying it out. But I think it works well if you don't get Eternal War on your CSM early on. If you do, I find anyway that you're a bit bogged down in your economy, can't really get what you want to counter stuff later, because CSM aren't really a counter for anything directly. I mean, they can tie things up in melee combat obviously, but when melee squads and setup teams are around you, want Havocs or Raptors or Grenade Launcher Heretics or something, and when you're spending power on your CSM, it's preventing all of that getting on the field. Also helps you get to tier 2 a bit quicker, start getting your things out there, but does give you a very nice solid base. Sentinel decapping mid, a tier 1 vehicle, can't cap points but pretty annoying when it decaps your stuff. Great synergy with Guardsmen since it can protect them with this stomp and they in turn support it with repairs. You've got triple gens up for red and no generators up for blue team. Havocs on the field now for deltakyklos. Very solid tier 1 army, Chaos Lord alongside double CSM and Havocs with that Khorne worship boosting the speed of everything. Chaos Lord's down of course. Just took too long to retreat out of there. 498, 426. Sentinel taking tons of damage but does get away. Look at this Warp Spider, what is he up to? Gonna try and chase it down, is he? But it's being repaired now. He's not going to be able to out damage it, I don't think, and he is forced off. There is Inspire Courage again. Nice liberal usage of it from greenelite early on, which does make a huge difference as a Commissar Lord, and he takes down the Warp Spider Exarch. Havoc suppressing the double Tactical Marines. Are we going to see some Assault Marines from Fisher? The Chaos Lord around that could be incredibly painful. He can counter initiate melee very well in tier 2 with his claws and his hammer of course. 498, 426, the claws just decimate everything. Chasing down one squad, tying up so they can't fire. Shut down Tactical Marines early on and you're shutting down a lot of the damage potential of Space Marines, especially of course in that first engagement. There is Kill the Weak, which misses. Shotgun Scouts are up. Chaos Lord can't be suppressed of course, but those shotguns do reasonable damage at close range. More repairs for these. No, let's see. It's a multi-last turret going up and it instantly goes down again. He cancelled it. Here comes a Shuriken. Guardian weapon team, which will suppress infantry with this default weapon it has. Can be upgraded in tier 2 to a Bright Lance. And steal the pressure here from Delta. Chaos Sword gets away this time, and he's forcing melee combat on a node. You might be wondering, why is he forcing melee combat, not just shooting it? When you shoot it, your bullets can miss and hit nearby stuff. If you're hitting with melee attacks, they can't miss, so all of the DPS is focusing on the node. Usually not a big deal, but some players do it. 475, 426. Catechins are forced off. These guys seem to be getting a cost reduction in next update. Have been crowded out quite a lot by spotters recently, who are seen to be pretty damn powerful in the right hands. Those guys getting toned down in the next update, so that will be interesting to see how that affects build orders for Imperial Guard players. Maybe they'll get both out now. 475, 424, and that is exactly what Green Elite is doing here. Dar Avengers not behind cover. Look at the DPS they are putting out though compared to those guardsmen with those las guns, forcing them off quite handily. Commissar Lord not getting involved there for some reason. There is the Basilisk Flare, one of the most annoying globals in the game to deal with, and thankfully, from my point of view, this thing's getting nerfed in the next update. It's going to get a cooldown increase, because at the moment you can basically use it every engagement. It's only 75 red, and it's incredibly powerful versus a ranged army. Sentinel getting repairs again. This thing's soaked up a lot of damage, that's for sure. Can Green Elite push through and harass power? It does have a really nice unit composition. Sentinel, double guardsman, catechins, spotters, lots of versatility and some killy potential from these catechins as well. The Commissar Lord is forced off. Are we going to see a power harass? Here are those spotters. These guys call in off-map mortar shells, and there's one of them. Actually does some friendly fire on his guards. I'm not sure why he called it in there. Looks like they teleported out of it. There's a shotgun blast by the catechins. These guys incredibly versatile, can counter melee squads, are pretty decent in combat, both melee and range, can disrupt and support, but you do need to manage their abilities well, which is not always easy. Their abilities sometimes bug out as well, as often happens in this game. Look at this pressure from Delta. Captain Fisher losing his scouts, now has a dreadnought on the way though, and that's before Delta has even got to tier 2. And look at these havocs, he's perched them up here facing the bases. Captain Fisher not bothered, and is just going to push ahead and decap stuff. A good choice from him. He can't fight what Delta has right now. Kicking off mid. Spotters throwing their shell down, disrupting some stuff. They also start with the smoke shell, of course, and in tier 2 they can get the incendiary shell, which will share a cooldown with the basic shell, but the smoke shell remains on its own cooldown. Walks of Exarch does get away. Here comes that shuriken, and Alex going tier 2 has a lot of options. Could get Dark Reapers up to shoot up this sentinel and help versus the guardsmen. Now that they have inferno damage, they're a lot more useful versus a wider variety of units. Warp Spiders would also be great. You could also call them in from the global bar of the Warps of Exarch if he has enough red. I don't think he has though. 365, 401, triple cap for red team. Look at this power harass from Captain Fisher. Dreadnought is up. Delta finally making his way back to defend here. Plasma gun on the field for the Techmarine. Incredibly dangerous, straight up DPS plasma weapon. Can tear apart Marines. But he's forced off it. Suppressed by the Havocs. Heretics coming in. Ouch. And Marines losing a model. Just one model though, that's not too bad. Captain Fisher getting some more tactical Marines. 310, 401. Alex going for some Wraith Guard here. Could be a good choice if he can keep the Commissar Lord away from them. He does have the Guardian Weapon Team for that, and does have an Entangling Web option on the Warps for that. At the moment he's got improved, I should say, Warp Generator and improved Targeters. And Autarch is dropped, Sub-Commander for Eldar, incredibly quick on her feet. Look at her go, jumped over a cliff and then fleets up to the VP. Has some power melee damage, can also support with a passive area of effect buff and a leap, which can also disrupt enemies if you wish. Really awesome Sub-Commander, I think. Recently got a health buff up to 750, which is nice. Got stunned by the Sentinel Stomp and runs away. Didn't manage to decap there. Here's that Dreadnought going to take down the Chaos Lord. Boom. And there you see that melee kill inspiration go off, buffing the damage and giving suppression resistance to all these Marines. What is going on here? Loses one of his CSM squads. He has double Mark of Khorne Marines, Bloodletters also. The Dreadnought will go down, I think. Yep, Las Cannon Shot finishes it off, but he did lose a Mark of Khorne Chaos Space Marine squad. The other one is tearing stuff apart though. Look at all this melee for Delta. Bloodletters are power melee, very dangerous. These Mark of Khorne Marines are now power melee. 256, 401. Sentinel trying to rush down the Shuriken and does get there in time. Catachan's not forcing melee combat and for some reason retreat. What is that all about? Up at full health. Could have put a demolition charge on the central VP and tried to cap it. Oh, he's probably retreating back to get back to base to defend this power quicker perhaps. Wraith Guard on the field, short range artillery unit, huge amounts of damage to all targets. Their shots will also suppress infantry. They're quite tough as well, but just pathetically bad in melee combat. And here comes the Commissar Lord to tie them up. As you can see there, they have a Warlock leader who gives them Wraith Sight, which means that they can move quicker. And when he dies, they become stunned, so that's pretty dangerous. Plasma Grenade on those guardsmen, killing a bunch of models, 5 looks like. And there's a Webway Gate. Commissar Lord forced off. Good pressure here from Alex. But he does force off the guardsman. Sentinel even backed away. He's going to finish this complete destruction of the power here. Wraith Guard paying for themselves already. Catachan's also a good option to force melee combat because those Wraith Guard are heavy infantry, so the power weapons of the Catachans will do a lot of damage if they're getting close. It's a massive risk though, because if they're suppressed, eat a couple of volleys from the Wraith Guard, they are gonna not last too long. You have double Plasma Gun Tactical Marines. It's a lot of Plasma DPS. That's 52 Plasma DPS just from these two models with the Plasma Guns. Then you've got the Plasma DPS from the Techmarine. Then you've got the Kraken Bolts from the Tactical Marines and their Bolters, of course. Devastators are going to set up on this ridge. 256, 287. That might not work out well for him. I'm not sure. That could be a shot blocker there, that little ridge. We will see. Can't remember offhand. 256, 280. Mark target on the Mark of Khorne Chaos Space Marines, but he needs a way to keep them off him. Should have brought this Devastator squad further up. Otherwise, he's just going to get mobbed like this. And runs away. Chaos Lord, Harness of Rage, Dark Halo, so he's setting himself up for some Lightning Claws, which is going to be a devastating melee force over here. Guardian Weapon Team behind a heavy cover of those rocks sets up and starts firing away. Autark is supporting with her buff, hanging back for now. There's the All Reliable you just saw there from the Catachans. These guys are also a detect unit. Autark jumps in. There's the Disruptive Leap, also slightly healing herself. Would have also healed and buffed nearby allies if there were any there. Ouch. Bunch of stuff dying there. That's Inspire Terror. Almost executing the Autark outright there. 239, 279. There's the Basilisk Flare. It's not going to do a whole lot because everything is close enough to fire at the Commissar Lord. What's going on here? Plasma Cannon getting a shot on the Mark of Khorne CSM. These guys level 2. Fully upgraded with Aspiring Champion who gets a Melter Pistol. The other models with a Plasma Pistol and Eternal War buffing their damage. Bloodletters causing all sorts of problems. Mark target on them. These guys have a long range teleport which they just used here. A passive short range teleport, and they can warp shift out of existence to take no damage, but he just retreats them anyway. 239, 267. Huge amounts of pressure here. Needs to make these forays this close to the base worth it though, because otherwise he's just going to get forced off, allowing Cpt.Fisher to push back. Does force off everything back to base and then full retreat, so Fisher can just push back out and maybe make his way mid to cap stuff. Red team under the cosh though. Green Elite has a Manticore. Wow. Wraith Guard doing awesomely well up to level 2, almost wiping those Catachans there. Combined with that suppression, that is a nasty combo. His spotters are dead. Tier 3 for Alex, Tier 3 for Delta. And blue team looking pretty strong going into Tier 3. 239, 210, Tier 3 also for Green Elite. Does he have anything else? Nope, just the flak jacket. What about the Techmarine has? Signum, we've seen the marked target go up. Also passively buffs the Techmarine's ranged weapons, which is pretty nice. Orbs also up. Delta does have the lightning claws, a very expensive power weapon, but these things do 100 DPS all by themselves. Pretty nuts, and that is buffed by the Harness of Rage. Alex still with improved warp generator and improved targeters. Center wrapped up for blue team. They also have the north with a triple cap, but looks like red team are gonna get a 2-to-1, are they? Bloodletters teleporting on the tactical marines. These guys decapping 50% faster and also capping 50% faster, trying to tank the damage. Friendly fire from a plasma cannon. He should have backed off as soon as he saw that marker for the bloodletters. Really, he's now using And They Shall Know No Fear, trying to tank more damage. A turret is up, should be shooting at the Chaos Lord. There we go, that is knocking his shield down incredibly quickly, and that should be able to force him off. Yeah, he's gonna die. Really should have retreated out there. Bit of a game changer here from Captain Fisher. A nicely timed and placed turret. What can he do with this thing now? Put some pressure on Delta. 239, 130. Sentinel missile launcher throwing some missiles at these Eldar players. Catechans wiped out by that Wraith Guard volley. Good grief. The Sentinel missile launcher incidentally is getting buffed in a future update. These frag missiles, while Wraith Guard decimating infantry. Good grief. Those frag missiles, which move very, very slowly, are going to get a speed increase. Might lead to further changes, but we'll see. And look at this. Drop pod reinforcing all of his stuff and allowing him to reinforce around it. What is this? Havoc trying to sneak in and get las cannon shots, I think, on the turret, but I didn't work out too good for them. A plasma cannon shot, and they're going to die, are they? Surely, yes. Plasma gun got the last hit. Become marked targeted Chaos Space Marines. Now taking shots from absolutely everything. Wow, that is some crazy damage. There's an Abyss. Wipes out the plasma cannon. Might wipe out those Devastators as well, if they can pull them in with the chain. He's pulling in tactical marines instead. Bloodletters phasing out and going to smack this turret in melee combat. Turrets do have a minimum firing range, but now they passively teleport on the tactical marines. That was a massive mistake. Getting right back into range of the turret. Chaos Lord is also forced off. Very frustrating engagement for Delta. Lost a ton of stuff. Wow. Completely turned around over there for Fisher. Lost his plasma cannon, but otherwise killed tons. His Techmarine now level 5 and can bash. It doesn't even need to bash power, just decap it maybe. Fire Prism is up for Alexwellace. Awesome fire support, some range. Can disrupt like an artillery weapon. Also has a focus blast that he can switch to for larger targets. Only 500 hit points on this thing, and it's not that quick either, as you can see here. Has good range. 219, 130. Lehman Russ on the field. That is going to go straight after the Fire Prism with the Vanquisher. The specialized anti-vehicle tanks can deal with the Fire Prism quite nicely, such as the las cannon marine variants and this thing. 219, 130. Wow, look at the damage. Crack grenade, crack missile I should say, from the Sentinel helping out, but it does go down, and as does the Fire Prism. 219, 130, 1-to-1 cap. Steal this turret. A huge pain in the arse for Delta. He's tier 3. Not sure why he hasn't got a tank yet. There we go. There's a Predator tank on the way. I'm sure he wanted a soup unit, but he can't wait that long. Here comes a Predator tank, or Chaos Predator I should say. 219, 125. Wraith Guard getting chased down by the Commissar. These guys have done awesomely well, wiping at least 2 squads that I've seen. Warp Spiders called in by Alex. Global call in from the Warp Spider Exarch. He can now upgrade them with stuff, and he is getting their aspect. They can also get an Exarch. D cannon on the field for Alex, covering mid. Very long range artillery piece with the awesome singularity ability, and tactical marines are going to force melee combat on them, which will force them off. 218, 118. Chaos Predator does hit the field eventually. Warthog running around now has her spear. Leman Russ. Was that a Manticore strike? It might have been. Warp Spiders are forced off anyhow. Commissar Lord levels to 3. Wraithguard trying to get volleys on this Leman Russ. Ouch. Getting a rear armor shot there. Can they get another? Nope. 202, 118. Double attacks forced off. D-Cannon lives. Back at base healing up. Warp Spiders need reinforcement. And some Kasrkin on the way for Green Elite. Cpt.Fisher still has the south under control. This turret doing superbly well. Some misplays perhaps from Delta, but he's been incredibly frustrated by this thing, and now he's trying to take down this drop pod. Are we gonna? Oh, there's orbs thrown in, and that completely disables the Predator tank. Is a Nurgle Predator tank as well. Bloodletters are gonna take down the turret. There we go. And now go after the Devastators, and it is cracked. But here are double tactical marines. Predator tank took tons of damage there. 178, 118, 1-to-1 cap. Lots and lots of red for Cpt.Fisher. Could drop Terminators soon, or a Venerable Dreadnought, which would be cool to see. What's going on here? Oh, he's got Stern Guard upgrade coming in. And tried to retreat at the same time, which doesn't work. Here are the Stern Guard veterans upgrading instantly to their Vengeance rounds, which is their anti-vehicle round. Forcing off the Bloodletters with it, might go and have a crack at that Nurgle Predator. Here we go. Nurgle Predator gets 1225 hit points, which is an obscene amount for a level 1 tank. Also gets melee resistance aura, which is pretty damn awesome, and a small amount of health regeneration. Gets that toxic shell, which doesn't do as much damage up front, but does leave a damage over time residue on the round. Kicking off in the north, Leman Russ, Guardsmen, Warp Spiders, D-Cannon setting up, Bright Lance shut down by that flare. Nice grenade on the Guardsman. Level 3 Guardsman fully upgraded with both squad leaders. Don't have a specialized weapon yet. Kasrkin on the field with weapon expertise, taking down the Warp Spider Exarch. Bright Lance can't do a whole lot to infantry, and Commissar Lord forces off the D-Cannon. He'll take his natural back. Time for Cpt.Fisher to transition to the middle, I think. 178, 76 is a double cap for blue. Red team running out of VPs. Chaos Predators level 2. Chaos Lord, what level is this guy? He's level 6, on his way to level 7. Techmarine also on his way into level 6. Level 4 Commissar Lord. Warp Spider Exarch is level 5 and down. Delta getting some more Bloodletters. They've done very well for him so far, so why not? Red team though, going to get a triple. 172, 61. Ogrins on the way for Green Elite. Terminators on the field for Cpt.Fisher. I'm sure you saw them. Commissar Lord's going to go down, is he? No, lives. Or does he? Warp Spider's chasing him with their teleport. Almost finishing him off, but now they're in all sorts of trouble. Almost wiped out there. They did throw their Haywire Grenade on the Leman Russ, and now the Wraithguard might be able to finish it off. Quick thinking from Green Elite, sending his Kasrkin into melee combat with them, so they can't fire their weapons. There's a Plasma Grenade. Kasrkin are going to get forced off though. Now the Wraithguard can turn and engage. Can they finish it off? They cannot, and here come Ogrins. Wraithguard do not want to see these guys around. 122, 61 double cap. There's user red. Bonehead leader is purchased. These guys are super heavy infantry with a hell of a lot of heavy melee damage as well. They can tear apart anything they get their hands on. Wraithguard forced off, losing their Warlock leader as well. He'll need to be repurchased. 98, 61. What's going on south? Another drop pod. That is so annoying. Chaos Predator doing incredibly well with Mark of Nurgle. Good choice turning out to be. 88, 61. Down goes the Techmarine. Terminators are getting absolutely owned by the Chaos Thor with those lightning claws, I should say, and double Bloodletters as well. Terminators do not want to see that. Could say it was just a poor choice from Fisher to try and use Terminators against Bloodletters. let alone this Chaos Lord by himself with that build at level 8. That would stop me getting Terminators right there. 66, 61, down goes the Warp to Exarch. Cpt.Fisher now looking very thin after that engagement at bottom. Can Delta push and support mid though? So it looks like Alex needs some support here. Him and Russ, level 3, wow. Here come those Warp Spiders. Have lost their Exarch but do have their Haywire. No point them pushing mid though. They need some support alongside that Haywire to scare off or deal with Lehman Russ. Chaos Lord decapping stuff for Khorne. Another Chaos Predator, good choice for Delta. Cpt.Fisher, what's he gonna do? Has no resources to do anything really. Ouch. Fragmentation grenade from the Cassian. They also start with a crack grenade. Lots of versatility these guys bring you. And they're gonna cap north. Blue team are decapping mid though. It's Warp Spiders taking big shots from that Lehman Russ. There's that flare yet again. And they shall know no what's it called? None shall fall, that's it. From the Commissar Lord's Fist of Brockus. Nothing in range to benefit, but does force off the Wraith Guard with that 85 DPS heavy melee. 37, 57, 1-to-1 cap. That Nurgle Predator now level 3 doing superbly well. Stone Guard veterans using their Hellfire rounds trying to force off the Chaos Lord, but they just made him angry. Here is the second Predator tank. No mark for this guy yet. Ogren's running in to decap, and there's an orbital trying to hit the tanks with it, which is not the best way to use an orbital. It does do quite a lot of damage to vehicles, but you can't really hit them, they'll just move away, and there's an abyss on those Ogres, and that is painful. Took out 3 models in seconds there. That's the power of the abyss. If you catch something in that very inner circle, it does so much damage. I think it's 200 heavy melee damage per second or something mental like that. 37, 46 is very close. Terminators back up to full strength, but they have a flamer. Of all things they could have got, they've gone for the flamer against tanks and bloodletters. Maybe he wants to cleansing flame to try and force the bloodletters off, but it's just a poor choice to get these Terminators on the field with what Delta had. Chaos Lord does go down. I think he was taken down by his own nuke, wasn't he? 37, 46. Alex now looking very thin. There is the cleansing flame. Almost wiping those bloodletters out. Here comes the other bloodletter squad though to tie them up, and look at the damage. Grief. Might finish them off here. Some Hellfire rounds now on the bloodletters, which are light infantry. 37, 46. They're just shifted out there. Down goes one of the tanks thanks to the Lehman Russ, which is now level 4 and bossing things. Now has elite tank crew also. What's going on bottom? Nothing. Techmarine still down there. Chaos Lord's going to be taken down by the Manticore Strike. Didn't finish the cap. Another Chaos Predator on the way. Marco Zinch is on the field now for this one. So that was the Nurgle Predator that went down. 37-30. Phase shift, because you have something to finish, to follow it up I should say. It's a single cap for blue. Usually this is used to stop a cap or follow it up, and he had neither there, so that was pretty much a waste of time. Oh, maybe he was trying to get these guys into range for the plasma grenade in time, but couldn't quite manage it. 37-17. Heretics cap in mid. Level 3 Heretics for Delta. Commissar Lord levels to 8, good grief. Ogren's forcing off the Wraith Guard, which are also level 4, 37-4. Here's the game for the blue team though, with a 2-to-1 cap. Cpt.Fisher just lost too much in this big engagement here, and Terminators were the wrong choice. It was pretty interesting in the south though. Lots of pressure early on for Delta, pushing Cpt.Fisher all the way back into his base, and then Fisher put the pressure on in tier 2 with a very nicely placed turret and a couple of little misplays from Delta, which means it took him a while to deal with that turret. Green Elite with Spotters and Catechans both getting whacked. Those Wraith Guard did a hell of a lot. Ogren's I think were a nice choice. Putting a spanner in the works of Alex. Maybe he should have got some entangling web stuff up and going. Thanks for watching guys, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.